Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to next topic uh, by Dr. Vijay Chand. Uh, I hope Dr. Vijay is available on the screen. Hi, Dr. Vijay Garu. Hi, how are you doing?
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon.
Good
I'm fine.
afternoon.
Fantastic. How
Yeah,
about
thank.
you?
Yeah, all good, all good. A little cold, and maybe because of my travel, I'm just feeling little sore throat.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm good. Thank you very much. So, Dr. Krishna Vijay Chen, welcome to Indian Business Excellence Summit. The topic Dr. Vijay is talking is successful marketing strategies for Indian companies. Okay. Dr. Vijay is a global strategy and marketing leader with 18 plus years of experience driving change and exceptional brand and business growth across technology startups, mid-sized firms, and IT organizations. So before you start, Dr. Vijay, I would like to say to the audience that we covered today, so we had one fantastic lecture from Ajay Nair about the Indian boats, about finance part, and we had a fantastic session from Rodolphe, where he's talking about knowledge management and also the strategy for unknowables, and one lecture from Mallaparaj, especially for Indian strategies. And in the morning, we had Ravi Ramanathan talking about AI part. Okay, and then one great lecture from Arvind. He is more into practical way of transforming organizations through performance management. I think we had a very nice mix of topics, a nice mix of experts talking, and we continue with Dr. Vijay, followed by Srinivasan, and then maybe I'll give a lecture at the end. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned. Please make sure that if you miss anybody, just ask them to join. And I would like to hand over stage to Dr. Vijay. Dr. Vijay, over to you. And it's my favorite topic, marketing. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much. Thank you so much, sir. It's my pleasure to be on this forum and the platform. Thank you for giving. So while you said, most of the well-known, speakers covered many topics, but marketing definitely happens to be the essence or the thing in any organization, which many entities do miss or maybe forget the essence of help them evolve and then generate new business. So what the entire presentation, you'll just see it now. Just let me know if the presentation is visible.
Yeah, if you did you share it already?
Yeah, I've shared it and I have
Yeah, now it is visible. It's
okay.
perfect. Yep.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you
we
all.
can hear you and yeah, please.
Yeah, so the successful marketing strategies, I've tried to cover few case studies which most of us do know, and case studies from my previous example, previous experience. I'm also writing a book for Thames University, where I'm the academic advisor. So I picked up few inputs from there as well, and then we'll see how this can be really productive by the end of the session. So yeah, this is the first slide. uh, More often what I keep telling organizations with all the organizations I worked before, not to ignore India. The reason why I is because India today is not just a fast growing, it is one of the most strategically demanded and it's in the world. What makes India more fascinating is the extreme scale and the diversity which coexist. And on one side, we have brands like Jio, Amul, Zomato, that have redefined how Indian consumer buying pattern would be. And on the other side, we have thousands of SMEs, startups, and even large enterprises which struggle even today. Basic questions like what they also try to question themselves on what languages do we, should we use, and how do we differentiate. If you see, last year there are close to about 11,000 plus startups which got closed. Probably the central, question which they should have asked them, same thing on, channels, languages, how do we have to differentiate, what's segmenting, targeting in the positioning strategy. So if you get my entire journey which I had evolved, be it forms, be it supply chain and sustainability, be it cloud and analytics. I have my own, educational institution or a college. So if you see here, my experience which I'm going to talk today is going to cover, that is, from boardroom to classroom. And a boardroom in the sense where marketing is expected to drive revenue and credibility. Absolutely, that's the reason why marketing has to be a function in every organization. If you don't have a marketing team as such, probably this is a time to build one, because marketing is not just, social media or a lead generation, something beyond that. And from classroom, where trust, long-term, transformation, so on and so forth. So I would emphasize again that today's session is not just going to be, a market. Is also about what generally works, completely based on my experience, the executions what I've done, few of my mistakes, have done in the past and have rectified them, learnings and results. So that is what, is what I'm going to cover. And Indian geography. So as I said, yeah, India is definitely a potential market. So if you see here, why is India different? I also may emphasized on and difficult, a data-driven view. So if you today see at the entire parameter out here, to understand the Indian market, we must start with data, because intuition alone fails, and that is by default known to everybody who might be listening to this entire session. So today India has over 751 internet users. If you look at the 2024 data, penetration is only 52.4%. I've also given the data from which I have picked up this info. We have 62 social media users, but platform behavior is completely fragmented. Someone in a metro may use LinkedIn, and and someone who's not in a metro might be using long form content, while some in a tier 3 cities maybe WhatsApp, or videos. So if you look at this, the mobile data in India, is cost about 17 rupees per GB, one of the cheapest globally. This single factor has completely changed the consumption patterns. Video is now default, not premium. Earlier it used to be. India's mobile advertisement market, if you ideally look at market itself, is $7.6 billion in 2024, and probably a couple of billions more in 2025, and definitely is expected to become $18 billion in 2023. 10.2% of CAGR. This I've picked it. So if you see this, if you actually see this, the growth is not linear. It is chaotic, right? And everybody would accept this. This is why I often say that India is not, it is a combination of many markets, which is focusing on the consumer buying pattern, and sometimes difficult, sometimes easy, sometimes very, non-existent position for startups, so on and so forth. So a consumer in Hyderabad behaves very differently from the one in Karimnagar. WhatsApp may outperform emails in a city like Nagpur. If you see, their short videos outperform long content, by 10x in tier 2 cities. This is all data is, is pulled out from all the relevant reports. So any marketing strategy that does not respect this complexity is destined to fail. And most of the reason, that is the reason why maybe many organizations don't rely on marketing. Probably probably the fear or the intuition towards failing. But they definitely, I would insist on having a marketing team, because the solution also comes in from them. Okay, so what actually works in India? 5 winning patterns. This is what I had used, and I have used the same, in my book, which is in terms of the framework which I've used in my book is vision, execution, legacy, and these five patterns which I'm actually showcasing here. Indian consumers, Indian consumers reward brands, then that point. If you look at Geo, I'm just giving you an example. Didn't optimize telecom, completely reset the expectations. But if you see that the first one, which is disruptive value, plus access, it has completely reset the expectations of the consumers. If you look at the second point, which is India responds to languages, it responds to festivals. Of course, we are also humorous, and the timing is also important. That is the reason in a strategy known as segmentation, targeting, and positioning, time is played a very important role in the sense that it does not work the same way in Tamil Nadu, or a pan India messaging, is often different completely. If for different cities, different ICPs, ideal customer profiles, you often, most of you might have executed this. The email or the strategy which you're using for a CII or a CIO or a CTO will completely be different from the strategy what your organization uses for a CFO, will be different from the strategy what the organization is using for a CEO. In a similar way, it's hyper localization, which I'm going to cover while we go forward. Certain important strategies known as account based marketing, deal based pursuits, so on and so forth, specifically for the Indian geography. The third purpose, brands like Amul, brands like Tanishq, Zerodha are trusted because they ethical, human oriented, human centric, and consistent. In India, trust compounds faster than performance claims. That is something which everybody has to think about when we concentrate on a geography like India. The fourth is digital first storytelling. That is very important. Most of the time, I've gone through one of the sessions, and they talk about a magic formula, and the magic formula itself starts with something like storytelling. They talk about how is it that we'll have to make a story relevant to the geography, relevant to the nativity, relevant to the people whom we are actually going to target. It's not only just look at this digital for storytelling; it is also applicable all the geographies. And the fifth important thing is ecosystem thinking. If you look at Geo, Tata Neo, Swiggy, they are selling the way of life, and they've redefined. That's a redefinition is what I actually call it as. So I describe all this, as a journey from vision to execution to legacy in my book, which is not yet out. Probably it should be out in a couple of days. So if you I've come to I wanted to show this Reliance, how it has disrupted. It's not that most of us don't know, all of us know it is, but still I wanted to reiterate. Geo had disrupted a saturated market. India itself is a saturated market, but when Geo could do it, definitely many other organizations, if they properly plan it, strategize it, everybody would be in a position to do it. So when Geo launched telecom, the market was saturated, pricing was high, adoption was internet usage was cautious. What did Geo do? It initially made data free. This created massive habit, which means to say they're getting habituated, they're getting the people or the consumers habituated to having a free data. People didn't just try internet, they lived on it. And that's what we literally do even today. Even I use Geo, I literally live on it. Powerful promise. Digital life for every Indian, not a telecom pitch, but a lifestyle vision. Then, which they've attached to this particular, digital life, which is Geo TV, Geo Cinema, Geo Savan, payments. Switching away became emotionally and practically possible. If you actually look at it that way. Now, finally, the storytelling is short, emotional, which will give us that digital to have have an ad also shown here, but for some reason my system started acting up, so I've deleted it. So that's the reason I'm not going to display any ad here on they've done it. But if you look at it in India, the fastest way to grow is to change the market behavior. It is not just a behavioral change, but also getting the consumers adapted, addicted towards lifestyle changes. So there's one more case study, which is from Amul, which I've just shown here. Amul represents the opposite end side of the spectrum, right? It's a masterclass in consistency, is what we have to say. Yet equally powerful. For over 50 years, Amul has used the same character, same humor, same visual layout in a world which was obsessed with reinvention. So Amul chose something known as discipline, strict discipline. Its tropical ads respond instantly to politics, cricket, sometimes Bollywood, and also social movements. That is the storytelling, right? If you also look at it, what's so remarkable is that even Amul moved to digital and social media platform. It did not change its personality, or it has changed the medium. This compounding brand memory, while others chase novelty, Amul compounds recall. That is the reason why I've mentioned it there, saying that consistency beats creative reinvention, especially in India. See the Amul girl, topical billboards, real-time marketing, digital compounding brand memory. It's all put together. What I said, something known as the magic part. This is a case study which I thought I'll just cover from Amul also. One was it from the telecom sector. The second is purely from the FMCG sector, so that we will get to understand on organizations which have become. Amul was a startup earlier. It could actually disrupt the market, which was really stagnant, and then go ahead and position themselves in such a way that today we think about, like the way, if we talk about a photostat, we say it's Xerox. Today, when we think about the mindset, they've changed in a way that we automatically think about Amul. That's the way they have actually created the market standard for themselves. So the next thing is, most of you might have to sit back once and then think about your organization's marketing strategy. Or maybe few organizations or other people who are actually attending the call, or maybe where you actually work, you have to think back, sit back, and probably discuss with your leadership. Do we have a team? If so, what is it that they're doing? Or do we don't have a marketing team as such? Why don't we have a marketing team? Because it is the marketing team help not only in terms of data, use the data, but also use in enterprise deals. I'll tell you how. In Indian B2B, marketing falls when it behaves like B2C. I'm actually talking about a scenario which is a B2B. Then we'll talk about B2C. Then we'll talk about a scenario for B2B, something like a D2C as well. Enterprise buyers do not respond to volume. They respond to credibility. That is what we'll have to actually think about. In our organizations, at least in the organizations which I have been working, I've worked with in the past, and I'm currently working, including the college which I own, we strategically use segmenting, targeting, positioning with a combination of 4 C's. And this execution has driven us, not only towards having appropriate thought leadership articles, but at the same time create so many enormous quality leads, which has actually helped or boosted the sales team to go ahead and then win large enterprise deals. So we run C-level roundtables, deep webinars, curated discussions where marketing creates trust or sales even enters. So this that we call it, right? Marketing is nothing but changing the mindset of the geography, changing the mindset of the person whom you are going to talk to. And sale is nothing but creating a sale value, a value to that particular mindset, which is nothing but closing a deal. We also use concepts like account-based marketing. We also use concepts like multi-touch engagement, which is LinkedIn. We also and also most importantly, the relevance. When a CXO sees your brand associated with partners like AWS, Microsoft, Snowflake, I just named a few, or a respected industry body, definitely half of the resistance disappears. So marketing is not the way about how it leads. It is about lowering the cost of trust. That is the reason Indian respond when you connect tech to revenue, risk, and reputation. You have to show to them when you are entering a market like India. Many of them have a resistance to see whether you to operate India as a geography or as a targeted geography. But the answer is because the purchasing parity here is completely different, more when compared to the other geographies wherever I operate in currently. And at the same time, definitely the decision makers do respond, at least with the multi-value deals what I close day in and day out, when when you connect tech vis-a-vis with the revenue, the risk, and the reputation what they would ideally get. It's simple, but telling them that we are going to help you win. And how is it that we are going to do that? By a proper solution or a product or or a service what you're actually going to offer. And of course, definitely the credibility combination of positioning your organization as a thought leader in the industry. And that particular positioning can only be done by marketing, with the help of the marketing team, because they are the guy, that is the team which drives credibility and trust. So the other important thing which I really wanted to cover, here is, most of us, right? We make hundreds of, and today we are talking about AI evolution. Tomorrow it can be neural networks, or the day after it can be a combination of AI with neural networks. Now, when we make so many decisions, every day, it is we make these decisions consciously. Sometimes it's also unconsciously, and marketing is no different. Definitely marketing also makes decisions, and especially in geographies like India, consciously and unconsciously. But all changes, marketing makes, um, does not does not need to be focused to get you the result in just a couple of weeks. But definitely marketing in a geography would, or the strategies which we have to implement, or I had implemented in the past, have reduced my complete sales cycle. So now when I talk about AI evolution out here, because there are so many sessions which might have covered, be AI also definitely being a part of it. Many people think that AI changes, replaces humans. No, that's a false statement, right? AI will definitely complement our efforts, but at the same time, AI will definitely help marketing also, to be positioned in geographies like India, to have an appropriate decision making cycle. That is, the decision management system would evolve marketing, and that would actually lead the organization into winning more deals and then positioning themselves as thought leaders in the industry. So good strategy becomes exponentially powerful, but bad strategy often fails faster, right? So that is the reason AI is to test assumptions rapidly, refine personas, and personalize at scale. Something impossible manually in India's market, which is really complex. Definitely a combination of AI with the strategies of marketing will help us test the assumptions, at the same time refine personas, I'm repeating it again, and personalize at scale. That is the reason when we make everyday decisions, every day we should also make a decision to, if you're not focusing on India, you have to focus on India, and at the same time you don't have a marketing team, you'll have to probably start a marketing team immediately. Okay, now this is what I'm actually planning to focus on. That is AI plus India, the perfect marriage. How AI changes marketing for Indian companies, which means to say India is uniquely positioned for AI-driven marketing. We have the world's largest multilingual, population, which all of us do accept it. Massive behavioral data, mobile first adoption, and if you actually see, we are the biggest, digital payments platform when compared to all the geographies across. And at the same time, if at all, if we enable AI, if we adopt AI, hundreds of content variants, in multiple languages can be created in split of seconds. Faster lead scoring and funnel optimization, deeper ABM personalization. I'm not sure if you guys, most of you might be asking me any questions towards the end of the thing, but if you question yourself, did we really have account based marketing? Did now AI plus ABM, did my organization start it? Because that is faster results, and believe me, I'm the best example out here to actually tell you that the sales cycle gradually, practically reduced from 6 months to 2 months to 3 months in most of the, in the organizations which I'm working now, and at the same time by using AI. Now, as as if you actually see this, it is an amplifying good strategy. Of course, when we are implementing, we are telling, the organization or the strategy that will be punishing the bad. So as a prompt as a prompt engineer, and also a black belt, I have really and literally even today have used, and I'm using AI to accelerate my ABM content generation. We also use AI to initiate our campaigns, and then we test the success rate of these particular campaigns in a span of days or weeks, which was earlier running into months, wasting efforts and time. So this is a 7-step playbook, which I actually wanted to portray here for most of the Indian companies. If you actually see here, this is a playbook I've used. This is all. This presentation is upon my experience, upon the the CXX, the CMOs whom I had worked with, and developed this 7-step playbook for most of the Indian companies. No. The foremost thing is what we have to see out here is know your geographies. That is tier 2, tier 3, rural. What kind of products am I actually going to take in there? What is my pricing? What languages have I having in? So on and so forth. And specifically in a geography like this, and also most of the geographies which we actually operate in, we have to solve a real problem. Then over deliver. We have to commit less but deliver more. That is what I follow. We generally commit less and then deliver more, rather than committing more and deliver less. Pick a clear brand voice. Brand voice, we call it as brand positioning, brand recall, brand voice, so that we stay consistent in the market, which is something like Namul or Zomato. Design for mobile as well as vernacular first, short videos, long language, local languages, WhatsApp, flows, so on and so forth. Build an ecosystem of partners, as well as alliances and industry bodies. This is very much important for most of the organizations. We don't need to go to analysts like Gartner's, or Novaricas on this, or the Celents of the world, but definitely we should have an analyst organization or an industry body associated with us. We should have the best of the best partnerships, with alliances which are well known in the market, and this should also have a feature which would a turnaround or a threshold which would help us build up with many of these industry bodies. Use data card, it's track funnels, at the same time experiment quickly. We today, most of you guys, everybody would be knowing it, right? Even we will be getting so many emails, emails in our inbox. Probably an attractive subject line would help us open that particular email. And once we look at the content will have to be, will have to what my interest would be, or else probably I would lose interest in the first 5 seconds. Then definitely there should be a call to action on that particular link. It should lead to my landing page, and that particular landing page should also have the information, use cases which are relevant to me. So what I mean to say is, today we don't have the leverage like the way we used to have it 10 years back. 4 months or 6 months of 6 months of time to close a deal. No, today there are hundreds of companies which are very effective and efficient marketing strategies, which operate using AI models, which would help them automate their entire workflows, and they will go ahead and close the deals very fast. So that is the reason we'll have to, at the same time, we don't have the leverage of experimenting with ease or leisure. We have to experiment these things fast, and at the same time, that is what will help us grow the funnel, because all of us, not everybody, who's here, everybody whom we interact every day, we want business, right? Whether we are operating in other geographies or whether we want to focus on the geography like India, ultimately, end of the day, what do we want? We want a sale, we want business. And how is it that we can do that? Only with the help of effective marketing strategies, tracking funnels, experimenting quickly, and then giving a boost, or a feed into the sales guys, saying that yes, now you can go ahead and then close it. Think legacy, not just campaigns, compounding trust over 5 to 10 years. So This is the blueprint I've used, as I said, in many organizations, and my book also, portrays this. That is how Indian marketers are moving through, in real world. Now, this is an important slide, which I wanted to have, ABM, account-based marketing. Most of you might have heard about this term, but still we rely on traditional lead generation funnel. Traditional lead generation funnel, or some people, we call it inside sales, we call it inside sales team. Some of them call it lead generation team. Some of them call it demand generation team. Some of them call it demand-based team. Some of them call it representatives. Whatever is the designation, ultimate, from the traditional method of lead generation towards the modern method of account based marketing. I don't know, I forgot to write here. Even the recent article from Gartner actually says that 217% quicker results will be achieved only if you use account based marketing. And believe me, ABM is a wonderful strategy to be used in a job. So what I've done here is, if you look at the traditional inside sales, volume driven, low percent, works for an SMB, not enterprise India. This is a very important topic, which I really, had fallen in love in the past, and I execute also. What is traditional lead generation? We have 6 lead generation team. We give them an entire data set of, numbers, and their job is to dial 80 numbers. So 6 into 8 is 480 calls, and I'm 100% sure that 95 to 98% land in their voicemails, and one or two, probably might respond back. And in the two who says, okay, who say, I'm going to attend a meeting with you, yes, I've liked your services, one might not attend, two might not. Most of the times they don't turn up on the call, or they do, traditional lead generation. Whereas on the flip side of it, if you see account based marketing, which is a very important principle, if none of you have started it, you might have to start it now. Personalized for key accounts. Account based marketing talks 1:1, which means to say, if I'm targeting one individual, a CIO or a CFO or a CMO or a or a cloud architect or a data guy, I have to on his own self. That is the effort which goes into running, campaigns for all other accounts should be the similar strategy, even while I'm actually executing it for this particular person. So one, that is, we only execute account based marketing for 10 accounts. We execute account based marketing for 100 accounts. Probably when we are executing, when we have to invite people for a webinar, when we have to invite people for a fireside chat, or a panel discussion, or get them to, or even branding for that matter. So account based marketing is 1:1, 1:10, 1:100, and 1:1000, which even, we don't recommend, and it's not viable. Now what happens? Because the accounts are less, that is either 10 or 100, we develop an account pursuit plan. What does the account pursuit plan say? Account pursuit plan tells me, of course, there are many tools which actually help us to use account based marketing, and account pursuit plans is nothing but the team, that is the marketing team, with the help of a market intelligence or a market research, associates out there. They go ahead and then they try to understand who is the prospect, who are these 10 prospects whom actually going to target, who are the ICPs, the ideal customer profiles. And in every organization we talk about 4 ideal customer profiles. Most of you might agree with me. One is an influencer, the second is a user buyer, the third is a technical buyer, the fourth is an economic decision maker, none other than the CFO or the CIO or the CTO, who's actually going to, sponsor this particular solution or a service of ours because he's got a pain point, right? And apart from that, we also try to do persona profiling. What is this? Who are these 4 people? What are they actually doing? What does the LinkedIn profile say? What are they thought leaders in the industry? What blogs are they actually, writing? Talk. What is the topic of his interest? We do this complete ideal customer or the persona profiling. And once this ideal customer persona profiling is done, then we go ahead and try to understand who are my competitors who are actually serving that particular organization, and are they facing any pain points. Many of you might be having a question now: is this really possible? It is definitely possible, because there are many tools which are available, in the market. Some are less expensive, some are a bit expensive. It depends upon the budget or the marketing budget what we hold. And once I understand what particular, who are my competitors who are actually serving that particular organization, I would also go and then try to do an IT budgeting. How much IT budget does this particular person have? How many tools does he have? So what I'm trying to do is, I'm actually doing a dossier, my market intelligence dossier, and keeping this entire thing ready for my account based strategists or account based specialists, marketing specialists, who will go ahead and then use multi channel. Like, LinkedIn, they will decide, do I have to reach him out on LinkedIn? Should I have to send him an email? Should I have to send him a WhatsApp? Do I have to invite him for for a leadership session like this? So on and so forth. Everything gets aligned. Now, what account based marketing will be successful only if sales entity, the leadership organization, as well as the marketing entity, all the three of them work together. This is the inner circle. The outer circle is nothing but the solutions team, the products team, the services team. Everybody will have to be working hand in hand, and the only team which drives this is nothing but the marketing team. So here, higher SQL pipeline, which will lead to healthier pipeline, which will lead to a positive deal rate. What I'm trying to tell you is, in traditional inside sales method, what we have executed there, earlier, out of 480 calls, probably there are chances that 2 3 4 might answer, which means to say the hit ratio is less than 1%. Whereas in account based marketing, take my words for granted, the hit ratio itself will be more than 28%, because we will track opens, we'll track clicks, we'll track the journey, the entire journey through which that particular person is coming onto the website. We will track exit, entry keywords, we'll track exit keywords, so on and so forth. Most of you might be executing ABM, so you'll agree with you. People who are not actually doing, specifically when you want to target or enter geographies like India, or you're planning to enter, or you've already entered, if you haven't used ABM, then ABM is the best strategy. So ABM is not marketing. Again, I'm insisting on that point. ABM is relationship orchestra. First, start off with developing a relationship rather than going ahead and sending them an email, or getting the inside sales team to call them. That's the reason I spent some bit of amount of time on ABM versus traditional inside sales marketing. Now, the other thing which complements my account based marketing strategy is nothing but my digital marketing effectiveness. If you look at the digital marketing effectiveness, different purposes, different platforms serve different ICPs, right? All of us agree to that. So LinkedIn, if you look at it, LinkedIn builds credibility, Instagram builds aspiration, YouTube for tier 1 and tier 2 cities, it is nothing but driving scale. WhatsApp delivers the highest conversation. So what I'm actually trying to do here, digital works when we are targeting based on the personal or the persona based assistance. That is the success formula what I've actually written there. It is nothing but retargeting, vernacular content, short form of videos, AI content scaling. So digital works when it feels personal, not promotional. And today, a combination, that is my first pillar, which is nothing but account based marketing. The second pillar, which is my digital marketing effectiveness, and the third one is branding, which most of us forget or we tend to ignore. See, what do we do is, people consider branding, to be, we think that, okay, I brand and that is done. No, branding itself is considered as a revenue engine these days. And of course, while branding becomes my third pillar, it becomes my center pillar. The other two pillars which are holding the entire strategy is, the left side of it is the account based marketing, the right side of it is nothing but my digital marketing. So what does branding do? Branding shortens sales cycle, branding reduces pricing resistance, branding increases trust. That's the reason I've given a few examples. Most of you know it. Infosys, it's predictable excellence. TCS, global delivery capability. Zoho, that's the way we brand them, right? Zoho, Indian quality plus global mindset. So marketing is not just a lipstick. It is a force multiplier of revenue. That is, we call it as the revenue engine. Now, when we do all these things, probably some of you might be having a doubt on the other side of the table, saying that, okay, if I implement account based marketing, if I go ahead and then implement branding and make branding as one of my strategy, definitely yes, I can go ahead and tell my marketing team. And at the same time, we have digital marketing. Now, what is the strategy? Is this enough for me to win large deals? No. That is the place where we have to bring another concept known as deal based pursuits, or I call it as deal based marketing. Deal-based marketing increases win probability by 30 to 40%, 30 to 50%. Okay, what I'm trying to do here is, large deals are not won by generic pitches. Most of you who are in this, who are in this discussion today, definitely will agree to my point that generic pitches will not go in for large. It is personalization. Be it microsites, be it CIO based pitches, be it proof of documents, leadership videos, war room collaboration, whatever it is. I'll tell you one concept, one point what deal based marketing tells it. Deal based marketing, which is executed by the marketing team, influences the influencers and the decision makers who are sitting on the other side of the table evaluating your RFPs. It influences them and then gets them to a conclusion saying that yes, this is an organization which whose RFP who I have to start evaluating first. How do we do that? That's a complete science on its own, which I've implemented. What do we do? I go ahead. I generally, the marketing team does not go ahead and then start discussions with with these deals. It is only the pre-sales team which does it, as well as the sales team. But deal-based pursuits is led by the marketing team, which sits outside the boundary of the prospect organization, but influences the decision makers out there using social media, using all the channels, digital marketing, social media, as a strategy on its own self, even before he understands or tries to evaluate other RFPs. We are getting his mindset to be aligned to what my organization has submitted in the RFP. It's a complete different science. We'll talk about it sometime later. It's a strategy on its own. But deal based marketing as a principle, as a concept itself, will not only reduce your sales cycle, which will increase your win probability by 50%. Believe me, even when I've worked in one or two startups like IT Technologies or InnovApp2, we had competed with the biggest names like Wipro. We had competed with biggest names like Infosys, and we have literally beaten them up, or we won in those RFPs and we got the projects. The only concept, because while my understanding layer, that is the horizontal layer, stands on top as it is, something known as deal based marketing, we have influenced them to a level that they couldn't say no, and then we were given the better chance, or the win probability more when compared to the biggest names. So this is what I call it as defining success. It's a combination. Whatever I spoke now, it is a combination of knowledge to see early success, knowledge with expertise, with experience, and need, which obviously the marketing team generates there, and the goals would help you succeed in any geography, even if it is India. That is the reason why I say India is the lab, but the world is the market. If a strategy works in India across languages, price points, bandwidth constraints, and attention overload, it will anywhere. That's what we say, right? If you can drive a four-wheeler in Mumbai, you can drive it anywhere across the world. In a similar way, if we can make India as a lab, and if we can experiment it, if we can succeed in geography like India, we can definitely succeed anywhere. So my invitation to everyone here is, it's not just about copying global playbooks blindly. We use India as this, use India as your testing ground, use it as your innovation lab, position your brand story here. You never know, there could be another Amul, Geo, or Zomato in the same room here, in the audience out there, and probably we'll be talking about you in the next coming sessions.
Wow.
With this, I bring my to the end. um,
So
Thank you
great,
so
great,
much.
very nice, Dr. Vijay. It's very insightful, really, especially when you talk about, is few very important topics you raise about, especially the account-based marketing and then the deal-based marketing. Fantastic topics. I think it's very, very important, and many organizations don't spend enough time and efforts to understand marketing very well. I think I realized a little later, but that is true. You covered the topics very nicely. Okay, and I think one question is from Ajay is, could you ask Dr. Chen about dangers of bots within our digital marketing plans? So Dr. Ajay Nair talk about the bots.
Okay.
Okay.
So thank you so much, sir. And question, dangers of bots within our digital marketing plans today. Probably Ajay, have experimented this. Most of the day today in this bot based world or AI based world, this is definitely a threat. The reason why I'm saying that this is a threat is because, I'll give you an example. We when we execute an email, then we use a tool. It can be any email tool. It can be Mautic, it can be Mailchimp, it can be any
Mailchimp.
other tool, Mailchimp, Mautic, Mautic, so on and so forth. The result, when we assess those particular tools, the open rates and the click rates would be exorbitant. Generally, most of the time what happens is, we take Pareto's principle, in the sense that if we are sending 100 emails, 20 is the actual result, even what the industry talks about. 23.58 should be our click rate, upon the emails which are sent. But most of the time, what happens out here is, most of these organizations have deployed bots. It is not that it's from their security purpose, because they don't want spammed emails. They don't want unsolicited emails to come and land in their inboxes, which might actually play around with their data. And data theft also generally happens. Sit there, they check the genuinity of this particular email, and the bot. That is the reason why, in an organization, most of the time what happens is, these open rates and click rates, rather than being 20 to 25%, it goes to 80-85%. So we land in an assumption saying that, wow, my email campaign is performing. That's the first mistake. My email campaign has performed really well. And what do we do? Generally we do a follow-up. A second follow-up happens. Second follow-up also shows the same thing. So that the opens and clicks should go to my account-based marketing specialist, or my team, or the sales team, who will have to start calling and start introducing. Now, most of the time, what happens is, when they call, this is an example, this is a problem which I had faced, and I'll tell you what we've done in the past. We've done.
Mhm.
What happens out there is, the sales guy calls this prospect out there. It can be a CIO or a CTO, and when he answers, when the sales guy says, okay, thanks for opening our email, and then on our website, which is being tracked by CRM. It can be HubSpot or a Marketo or a Salesforce or whatever it is. And then, a form is automatically filled. Now, what happens out here is, the immediate thing, CI say, I never heard about your organization. Who are you? What do you guys do? And in that 1 minute, we generally get 1 minute of time. In that 1 minute of time, we don't. If he says, I don't know who you are, he'll never answer my call again, my sales guy's call again.
Then
So
it's
we
on.
tend to go into wrong impression because of these bots, which is a threat. So what did we do? First and the foremost thing is, we've changed the tool. We moved on to platforms like Zoom Info. We moved on to solicited platforms where there is a restriction on bot activity, which means to say, if there is a bot activity, a bot will understand a platform. Foremost thing what we did was, we've taken the platform with bot, bot elimination, which means to say, even if my email goes there, if it's a bot which is clicking it, my tool will not capture it, because my tool understands that it's a bot which has clicked it, not a human interaction. Because there is certain set criteria on these tools saying that if it's a human, the minimum time which he has to spend on my email, which he reads it, is 13 seconds. Anything which is below 13 seconds, this is a set criteria, because a bot will not read the email. A bot will simply click it, which means to say the is open is 2 seconds. Now here, if it is more than 13 seconds, the platform understands that it's a human, not a bot. So that is captured. The second thing is, I have used my bot, on my particular website. There is a bot which is actually sitting, we call it Jessica, which sits there. And if it's a bot which is entering my website, Jessica understands with other set of criteria, or APIs which we have on the bot, which understand that the bot is landing on my website, and that information is not pushed onto HubSpot. So only human interactions are actually performed. So the answer to Mr. Ajay, to eliminate the threat of bots is to have bots. A bot is an answer to a bot. So we'll have to start deploying bots which are more LLM and NLP driven based, which will understand through various workflows on whether it is a bot activity there or a human activity, that actually helps me and my sales team focus on right intended audience, and not the wrong ones which the bots have clicked. This is one of the examples, and there are many which keep coming in.
Yeah. So for the conclusion is, would you prefer to use bots, or we have to use bots carefully as a conclusion, because there is some voice disturbance. I don't know from my side or from your side. Vijay?
It's from my side. It's from my side. I'll just, yeah, bots will have to be used very constructive, because we cannot because until and unless the bot is developed by my own product team, I cannot go ahead and then deploy it as it is, because that comes with its own set of rules and regulations. And we'll have to also understand with constructive algorithms, and at the same time the bot has to listen to what my end goal is. And we'll have to customize, even if we are purchasing it from somebody outside. We'll have to customize it to aware that the other threats from other bots which are actually deployed, because my ultimate thing is to ensure that my bot does what I am intending to do.
Intend to do. Yeah. I hope that answer your question, Ajay. I have two questions. So one question is, based on your experience, Dr. Vijay. See, now we have so many events going on everywhere. If you see it, okay, so it's a flooded. So online, of course, online events are limited now. After post-COVID, so you have physical events, so many conferences, summits, okay, exhibitions. The people go and present it. What is the best way to do that? Like it's not cheaper. It's an investment, time and efforts, and the cost and all. At the same time, you have to present, okay, in the exhibitions. So what is the best way from the marketing point of view, okay, uh, to manage this confusion and also the productivity? So what I understand is, based on our some exhibitions where we posted, the end client who is visiting, that is not the real case there. So end clients are not visiting many, okay. The partners, the consultants, the competitors, they're there, okay. But real client, if he visits to the stall and all, that makes real impact, okay. So what is it from your, you must be experienced in that, and you know what it is, how it works. Like for example, there are so many programs from CII and other institutions, okay. So when we go there, it's more about a networking event rather than a knowledge sharing events kind of thing. So what is that for a product or service based companies? So what is your insight, Vijay? I have one more question. I will ask it later.
So I even and you've positioned the right point, sir, because most of the events which happen today, it's not the end customer who actually comes in there. See, what I have done in the past failed many times. We did fail many times. So what we have done in the past was the first principle. We will have to let the prospect. Most of these prospects, that is the C category, or we call it as CD, what we call it as the CXX, who are none of the CTOs, CFOs and all. D stands for directors, and we'll have to make it very sure that again it is all the magic formula, content driven. We'll have to ensure them that these events are not only for these are not awareness events. These events are for us to solve their problem. So in the past, when we did an event on our own, we failed. We did not get the turnaround. So what did I do? I went forward, and then I told my leadership, saying that let us not have these have events all alone. All alone events will not work. As I said, events we'll have to partner with the names which are very much relevant in the industry. So the next event,
Mhm.
what I did three countries when I was with Tatas, associated with the Tatas. The first event when we did it on
Mhm.
our own, we literally failed because, as you said, there was nobody turned out to that event, and there was no business requirement. The second time when we did was we've completely strategized 3 to 4 months before. We've approached Gartner, we've approached IMA, we've approached NASCOM, we've approached CIA, trying to understand who will actually partner us. And then what did we do? My subject matter experts, along with their subject matter experts, we along with the market intelligence team, we did a thorough planning on which are those companies which have a real industry problem in the industry. It could be somebody trying to implement an AI strategy, somebody trying to implement a cloud strategy, somebody trying to move away from cloud because of whatever regulations they have, somebody trying to have sustainability as their strategy, like the way we have Telstra's
Mhm.
sustainability strategy for 2030 is completely evolved. So these kind of information comes with a lot of research and comes with a lot of reports which all might have already written. And they also tell us, when we partner them, these are the industry bodies or the organizations which tell us ki, yes, companies 20 to 30 have this requirement. And then the concept starts. It's not like A to Z, it is from Z to A. The concept of the event itself we've formulated after knowing what the pain point in the industry was. So that couldn't have been possible if I, from an organization of Tata representing them, would have done this. It is only because partnering with a Gartner, partnering with an industry, of us sitting together, they keep bringing inputs, they keep giving us more, pain points which are happening
Mhm.
in the industry. And basis that is what we developed an agenda, we've developed a structure, we developed a theme, and then we've approached these particular organizations saying that this is the theme of the event and this is what we are trying to do. And we also made it very clear that there was a questionnaire which was also sent to the organizations which wanted to exhibit. Not that people just give money for their exhibit to have their stalls and then they come in there. We had given them the questionnaire. The questionnaire was filled up not only by the people who wanted to exhibit, but also the panel members and the speakers who are actually coming there to talk. Plus, Visa got this pain point. The questionnaire ideally happened. The main marketing, I said magic formula, the content strategy. After filling, once we got all the questionnaires together, we've evaluated it. Of course, we've again done it with the help of an AI tool itself. We've evaluated it. Then we understood that okay, out of 100 applications which we got to exhibit, we only picked up 30, 40 which are relevant to the industry. Now, what will happen when even if the prospect, and we also told them keep, these are the pain points, these are the questions which were already sent to everybody, and these were the answers which you have responded, which had interested the prospect who's got a pain point also, that is the CIO and the CTO. At that instance, okay, somebody is going to talk about my pain point. This is not a generic industry event, this is a focused industry event. And we've over of course we got, while the
Mhm.
seats were 150, we got 345 registrations, and the conference room was overbooked, with 220 coming and attending there, and everybody went back with their own set of 10 to 15 qualified leads. So that's what we have to do. It starts with research and it ends with research. Hello. Hello, am I audible? Hello. Hello.
Yeah, please. Abdul sir will join, sir. He's disconnected.
Okay, I thought it's a problem from my end.
No, no, no. It is a connectivity issue.
Sure.
Sorry, something is wrong with my Dr. Vijay. Something is wrong with my laptop. It's taking time. Okay, it thrown me away. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, you're audible, sir.
Okay. I just joined in my mobile just to complete the questions. So very interesting, Dr. Vijay. One more question is, I think I understand. It's not just participating or it's not conducting uh, the event. So there is a lot of homework need to be done. Okay,
Yes.
so that can add value. So I totally agree with that. So that's fantastic advice. The another advice is for the online. So during the COVID, everybody did very nicely the online events. Okay, but later after COVID, now online events are not very beneficial. Even though it saves time, it gives them an opportunity to listen to the experts without moving around. Okay, but still, people don't spend time on it. What do you think about it? Yeah.
So so if you actually see it that way, sir, even even we keep conducting online events because that's the easiest and the safest way to
Mhm.
bring in audience. But for online, digital marketing plays a very effective and an efficient role. And when I talk about digital marketing, digital marketing is again divided into two parts, right? It's divided into one is paid campaigns and organic campaigns. So paid, most of us, what we do is we don't utilize the paid campaign or paid
Uh-huh.
strategy effectively.
Okay.
If you look at LinkedIn, if it with LinkedIn, we have features like smart links. We also have features where LinkedIn can actually cluster this, cluster the intended audience, and all this happens only if at all if you are actually going under the paid model.
Uh,
Yeah. See, what I'm actually trying to say out here is, if it is an online event, if it is an offline event, definitely there are constraints. There are constraints which actually may not allow people to travel to that particular location, because it is location based. It involves cost, it involves the time, everything. Whereas on the flip side of it, online should be more successful. But if you look at it, physical events will be more successful than online events, because people try to lose interest. So first strategy which we've started using was definitely paid campaigns, not only using paid editorials or advertisements on LinkedIn, but also we've started using paid meta ads, paid Google ads. The reason for doing this, because for online, the entire world is the scope, until and unless there's a timing restriction. If at all, if I'm executing an offline event in India, probably people from Hyderabad might come and join, because they just need to, it's
Correct.
not travel cost. Whereas online, India can be my scope, not only India, even the geographies which align, to some extent, 2.5 hours apart from us. This side we can cover Singapore, Malaysia. This side we can cover, cover till, probably EMEA, Saudi Arabia, so on and so forth. But the reach for organic campaigns will not be so much. Organic campaign is only for people who are actually following my particular page, and if at all, if they click and if they reshare, if they act on it, then it goes into their network, it gets amplified there.
Correct.
Whereas if it is an online paid channel, I can include all my intended ICPs. I can include all my all the geographies, and then execute the paid campaign. That's one thing. And during these paid channels, which will really help us, which did help me a lot, and definitely I'm sure that it will help everyone out. Executive briefing is very important when we are running these paid campaigns, because people should know which are the companies which are coming in, participating, and who are the people. It's unlike for the offline thing, where we do a research and then tell that this is what we are talking. For online drives, with the people who are actually going to come in there, and most of them will be involved and will be interested only if they see a CIO coming and talking, a CTO coming and talking, a CTO coming and talking, so on and so forth. And then comes the second part of it, which is nothing but what is it that they're actually talking on. So the first is my paid campaign. paid campaigns across all channels. The second is the people who are actually going to be involved. Like for example, I captured few names. Mr. Ravi Ramanathan, who spoke in the morning, and just one session before me, the other person spoke. So these are the prominent names in the industry who would actually, uh, who will drive traffic. So what I'm trying to say is, first is paid campaigns, second is people who are talking, the third is entire problem. How is it that we are framing that particular problem vis-a-vis that problem equals to the solution? How is it that we are framing the solution? Clear next steps, and the post event, post webinar or post event campaign, that even we'll have to go ahead and then send some kind of notes, or links or YouTube channels, so on and so forth, for people who not only joined but also the people who registered but did not join.
Yes.
So they will definitely have time. I was listening to Ravi Ramanathan's presentation in the morning, and after that there was somebody else I was listening to, the industry personal from, who was talking on HR just one session before me. So when they have a free time, they'll definitely listen to it. Definitely listen to it, and when they listen to it, they'll have that idea. Okay, last time I missed it, next time I'll talk. So we are doing a retargeting on people who did not attend, so that they will attend next time.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dr. Vijay. We ran out of time actually. I think because our next speaker will be waiting, we ran out of time by 15 minutes.
My bad.
I would like to ask many questions. Since it is so important, maybe we can have a one-to-one session.
Yes,
Dr. Vijay.
yes, sir, sure, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, and maybe I'm even thinking, since maybe if it is possible, maybe we can have a 2-hour marketing session. Maybe we can have a 2-hour marketing session, Dr. Vijay, once. Maybe
Sure,
when feel comfortable, wherein
Yeah.
we talk exclusively about marketing strategies.
Yes.
And maybe sometimes we'll do that,
Sure,
because it's
sure.
so important, and also everybody can join and discuss. Okay,
Absolutely.
let us do
Yeah,
that.
yeah, sure.
So,
Thank you so much.
So thank you, Dr. Vijay Chen,
My pleasure.
for a wonderful lecture on marketing. I really enjoyed. So thank you all on behalf of participants and organizers. I would like to thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, give a big round of applause to Dr. Vijay. And I'm